What's up, y'all? Leigh Kakaty here from the band Pop Evil. Hope y'all having a blessed day. But for now, may the rock be with you. Peace, love, Pop Evil. Feeling
Hey
good,
Lee,
brother.
welcome back to May the Rock Be With You, mate. It's been about 6 years since we caught up backstage in Sydney eating Tim Tams.
We're due. We're due
We
to
are.
catch up.
So let's catch
Love.
up. How've the last 6 years been for you?
It's been amazing. Obviously, lots happened. A lot of albums, a lot of songs, and we're currently on this new one, this new album. What remains has just kind of recently been released, and we've been touring on it already. A big tour we just finished up on. So I mean, we're excited, man. New music, this new era of the band. It really feels special.
Excellent. With what remains, it's a monster. It's a huge album. You just guys keep making them better and better. Is there
Thank you.
one word that you feel sums it up perfectly?
I don't know. I don't honestly. I don't spend a lot of time thinking about it in depth now because it's. I mean, it took a year or 2 years of my life to kind of go. I'm already working on the next one. You know what I mean? So thinking about until I get asked those questions, sometimes I don't know if it's a word, but this album was definitely more of a personal healing record for me.
Mm.
I had no idea. Sometimes I'm looking back, there were moments where maybe there's some personal reflection or personal influence on certain songs, but for the most part, it's a lot easier to write about someone else or to write putting yourself in someone else's shoes. But this album was way different. It was as it started to progress, it just became more and more evident that I had so much that I guess I'd been carrying for years, and it just needed to come out. And with this new band lineup, the managers, the label, everyone being so supportive of me in more ways than it's ever been, it just felt like it was the perfect stage was set for this perfect element to be able to make this album lyrically a little more personal and allow me to have some of that that mental health healing that I needed, and just been incredible, man. Once you started diving into that, you just knew that this was going to help someone else, and that's really what it's about, right? When you're making music and help someone through a tough time or help someone relate to you and know that you're not alone and what you might be feeling or going through, there's some comfort in that, and just knew that because of that, I needed to push forward and just keep going. And that's, to me, I think what makes this album so special.
Yeah, I think we've talked about that before. Like, I think
Mm.
we talked about when Waking Lions was about. You guys are
Yep.
very, very not superficial. You guys try to help people and try to help people with music, and it comes through, and you can really feel it.
I appreciate that. It's got to be worth something. It's got to make sense. It's got to motivate you to move forward. And there's nothing more motivating than knowing that. And when you hear more of that too, we've been around for a while now. So a lot of our fans, when we get that one-on-one with them, they're telling you that the music has helped them through tough times or saved their life. I mean, that means it really resonates, and it's something that you don't want to take for granted. It means a lot to us, and it kind of inspires you to push further, dig deeper in that catalog. As we're writing new music, to be more creative, be different, be uncomfortable in a way. And what remains definitely was many moments where it was uncomfortable for me. So to not finally have it out there and to have it be received the way it has, and so again, it's only been a couple months. It's just it's a bit overwhelming. It's a little bit weird, to digest sometimes because you're used to so many critics. I don't like this or I don't like that, and so many people are already liking this album. So it's awesome. Obviously, it's great, but it's definitely new. And even though we've had the success we've had, every album's been a bit of an evolution, like you said, for the band. So to be on this page with Pop Evil, where we really feel like we're pushing our identity and really pushing our hard rock and metal roots, is just where we want to be, and headed into the future, excited to explore that. And songs like Waking Lions in the past kind of were stepping stones to get to where we're at now.
Yeah, perfect. Now, you guys work on a pretty close to 2 to 3 year schedule for albums. Now, as time goes on and your catalog grows, what, if anything, do you use that you've learned on previous records do you bring to each new release?
Yeah, I think a lot. I mean, I don't know if it's anything specific I'm thinking about in mind, but you're constantly looking at, the wins, the failures. You're thinking about those experimentation things you did. That you're like, that didn't work. Let's not do it. I mean, there's an element of making a record that you want it to be fun. Let's be real. It's like a hidden a candy store moment where you just remember about being 18 or 17 years old again, dreaming about being here. So when you get in the studio, I always try to like experiment a little bit. Just let the fun, you don't think about being in Pop Evil or in a band, you just write. And sometimes those songs really like, kind of bloom or blossom and turn into something special. And sometimes, they just fizzle and sit there and, you just put them to the wayside, or kicking the curb, so to speak, but it's just, it starts supposed to be fun. It can be stressful too, because you want that first one that starts it off. And what remains, the song was that one that started off this record. But until you get that one, it can be stressful. There's
Mm.
always those questions come back up. You're like, man, I'm 8 albums in. Is it all I got left in the tank? Can I write any more? Who knows? Because I don't write. I write, but I don't. I'm not writing. I'm writing this new record, but I'm not with no pressure. If none of these songs make it, none of them make it. I like to kind of go in after an album cycle's done and just start fresh.
Hmm.
Just head out to Los Angeles or wherever. I like to be away, as far away from my home as I can, because then it makes me, get up in the morning and go to work, kind of like a job. Where if you're
Yeah.
at home, you're hanging with your buddy or you go golf, you're anything to distract you will, because when you tour as much as we have, you crave like just any kind of interaction with the real world that is non-music related. I love from mowing the grass to going to a movie. It just any of that stuff isn't really normal for us. We don't get to do that a ton. So when we do get those opportunities, it's important to charge those batteries. So it's important to be away when you're creating music, at least for me, to just really dive in and just focus all you can on just the creative aspect of writing music and writing lyrics. And so, but yeah, you do. I definitely, you're trying to be more aware of your live show as well, right? Like what songs does the live show need? What are you missing? How are these songs going to work for our fans? Just they still want to hear it when you have the amazing fan base we have that's been with us for all these years. They want to hear a lot of the old stuff.
Mm.
But we're a different band now than we've ever been. Every band's growing, and certainly the pandemic changed a lot for a lot of bands in a lot of different ways. So I mean, since then, I mean, obviously there's pre-pandemic and post-pandemic is a whole different it feels like universe. And from my look at my career, now past since the pandemic, there's just a different sense of urgency. And maybe it's because, we're 8 albums in. I mean, we're closer to the end of our career than not, right? I mean, let's be real. Whether we get 10 more albums or whether we get one more, we're closer to that than we like to think or like to admit. So, it just you kind of start thinking about that. What do you want to be remembered for? What's your legacy you want to leave, lyrically, musically? And, we want to dive in. And I know that when I, talk about and speak for the band, that we really want to push that metal, that hard rock side of Pop Evil that we couldn't earlier in our career. Being a radio band in the States, in the US, in the, late 2000s, I mean, it was a different musical landscape for successful songs and what would connect with somebody now, which is exciting, heavier than ever. I mean, with playlisting and all these amazing festivals that have popped up in the US too, that are similar to the European festivals. I've never played an Australian festival, so hopefully I'll get to experience that one day. But it's a lot. There's a lot of metal just kind of infused with the rock, and it's just a necessary evil. I mean, at some point, we're all going to kind of be influenced by each other, and it's easy to do for pop evil because pop was always the bad word. Evil, we were always rock metal fans. So, pop was kind of like the name of the band was kind of like being that rock metal crusader for just reminding people that, hey, we're here too, man. We're speaking the language. We're screaming from the mountaintop. What about us? Remember us? Like, forget your country, forget your hip hop, forget your pop. Like, we're here, we're here. And that's kind of where the name comes from. So, it's awesome. And again, but when you get in the business, you kind of get in where you fit in, man, and you just try to make the best of your moment and your opportunity and try to survive. I mean, the business, it chews you up, spits you out. I mean, for the amount of bands that are around from when we started are very few, if any, very slim to none. So, we're grateful that we've been able to stand the test of time, but we've done that by evolving and growing and not just being content with the success we've had and like, okay, well, now that's our sound. We need to do, 40 more of those kind of songs. Hell no, we don't want to do that. We just keep growing, keep pushing. We just know for sure we got to have good riffs, got to be guitars, 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 and good catchy breakdowns, catchy choruses. That is pop evil. I mean, my melodic voice is kind of the staple of what the band sounds like. Obviously, that's kind of stayed true from songs like Waking Lions to what remains.
Mm.
My voice has kind of been that glue. So pushing my vocal in ways differently, whether that's with effects or with different things. I know people, especially certainly the old school fans, it's a bit of a blessing and a curse. Some fans love it, some fans don't, but you can't sit still. I mean, we already have it. My big thing to any fan that's like, well, I like your third album, your fourth album. Well, guess what? It's there for you to listen to anytime you want. But we're working on the eighth album, the ninth, the 10th. I mean, we can't, you just can't do the same thing. It's just even for our own, that's a little more from, in my opinion, what a musician takes away from it, right? Like when you make music for other people for a living, you're so worried about what everyone thinks for a majority of your life or a majority of your year. You need to really, I think, embrace those moments that are for you. And when you're in the studio and you're being creative, you're experimenting, or I think like any singer will tell you when they hear their voice, they probably most of the time hate it.
Mm.
So, I mean, every fans might love that band or that person's voice or that singer's voice, but for the singer, I hate my voice. So it's like, I want to sound different. I sound like that. Don't just put chorus and reverb on it. Let me get something else. What else you got? Let's see. Oh, that's different. And you get to see that on this album. There's a lot of different effects and things I was trying to do with my vocal that can just trigger more fun, like for the live show as well. Like now, when you take these songs, you play them live, it doesn't sound like this song was from early on in our career. It sounds fresh. It sounds more relevant in what's going on with what these other bands are doing. And that's like, I think, the exciting thing too. We're learning from a lot of these younger bands. Number one, the party is not as cool as it was when we started, right? It's cooler to be healthy. It's cooler to be focused on your music more than it ever was. And these young bands are taking that mentality and running with it. And to be honest, quite frankly, there's no other choice, because there's just so few bands now that are breaking than ever before. I mean, it's just so hard to break, and there's so many of these younger kids aren't being influenced by live music, right? They're playing the guitar on their phones and they're just hitting buttons. Going out to the store, and you see that with some of the guitar shops, right? They're going out of business, or some of the big mom and pop, those mom and pop ones are going out of business, or the big retail store chains that are selling guitars. Selling fewer and less of these things, because people, that younger generation, doesn't want to play. They're like, I don't want to go. Our generation, yours, like, you think about it, like, we wanted to get that guitar. It was awesome. Like, oh my God, what do you want for Christmas? Oh, I want a guitar. Now kids want, give me that PlayStation, give me that digital thing, give me that or give me that kind of device that they want to just, in some ways, make things a bit easier. But anyways, getting back to what these young bands are doing, is they're definitely not taking the easy way out. The bands that are surviving, that are younger and thriving, they're doing the diligence. They're working their tails off just to get to the front door. And then when they get to the front door, they're doing their best to kick it down. You know what I mean? And they're really making the most of it, because that was the work ethic they've done all along. So for us bands that have been here a little bit, it's important to watch them. How are they surviving? How are they surviving, thriving in this era of music, rock, metal? What are they doing? What are we not doing that they're doing, that they're able to connect with audiences differently? Because that radio era of music is kind of, it's cyclical, right? Like, it's gonna, and maybe we're at the tail end of it. So before it kicks back up again, and you see a little bit of that, right, with Creed coming back, and
Yeah.
some of these bands that have been away that are coming back now, and there's tons of them. The list goes on. But even AC/DC coming back at the moment. There's another band that has. It's just, sooner or later it comes back around. But it's important to just keep relevant. Just and what I mean by keeping relevant is have fun again. When you've been around for 20 plus years, remember what it was like when you first started. What were those things that you couldn't do then because you had no success? Well, we have a little success now. Let's go back to that mentality and do those things now that we wanted to do. And that's kind of what we did on this album. We were able to take a little more time to do it, cut songs, find the right songs, and really put together a collection of 10. And it's only a half hour. I mean, we didn't even care. Like, we're not trying to put an album together to kill time. We wanted to put an album together that tells a story. Number one, starting with me, the lyricist, of healing. The fact that, when the true shit hits the fan for you, what is left? Right? I can't control what you do. We might be brothers, and I might love you to death, and I can't control what you do. Just because we're bound by blood doesn't mean I have any say of what you're going to do with your choices in your life. So it's so important, when the crap hits the fan, what's left? You are what remains. And the choices that you decide to make when you leave your house that day or that morning, or your apartment, that has value, that matters, and you have to make that decision. Do you want to go out and find someone that can help lift you up, or do you want to go out and find someone and take it out on them? You know what I mean? And I think there's so much, maybe the social media era, maybe it is the fact that, everything's hand ready, the appreciation of someone's success. Hey, you're out here trying to spread the word. People are other musicians might be taking that for granted. You know what I mean? Here I'm out here putting out music. Other fans are like, whatever. There's so much for them to do, and there's so much thrown at them. People don't want to appreciate the things that we used to, because, we didn't have opportunities to see all that. If it wasn't happening in your hometown and you didn't have a TV, you didn't know about it. It's not like your phone. And I mean, come on, I'm doing interviews in Australia. Like, that doesn't, it's unheard of to me. Like, Australia was a pipe dream for me when I was growing up in Michigan. It was like, I'd never get there. It was like, might as well be on the moon. I mean, it was beautiful. It was amazing, but an alligator, a crocodile, that's so far away. I mean, I'll never see anything like that, and then now I'm doing interviews, the bands are like, it's just, it's incredible. And I think that's, there's pros and cons, but it's important to remember that the thing that stayed constant is people, right? People need help, whether it's just for 5 minutes of their day to just be like, I'm taking the spot. Maybe you're a dad, maybe you're a mom, maybe you got a job, maybe you hate your boss. You just need that minute, that hour where you're just like, this is for me today. I'm just going to listen to this song. And it might be a damn Disney song. I don't know. I don't care what it is. We all got those damn guilty pleasures that it's like when a song hits right, it hits right, man. Like if you're in that mood, like forget about just being metal and rock or whatever. We're people, right? In music, we have different emotions, we have different feelings. Just because we're guys doesn't mean we don't get sad, doesn't mean we don't get our feelings hurt, doesn't mean we don't get lost. Obviously, I'm a guy, so I can speak more in those shoes. But I got tons of strong women around me all the time that really shape me and help raise me. You know what I mean? But still, it's so important to be able to communicate. And when you can't communicate, sometimes a song can be all the communicating you need. It's like, hey, I can't. I don't want to even tell you how I feel. Just listen to the song, and it's exactly how I feel. You know what I mean? So there's just moments, and there's a responsibility I think that we have as musicians for those moments to help people tell their story, right? Like you're still writing yours, I'm still writing mine. And just because I'm in a musician and I'm making music doesn't mean that I don't have a story to write too. And sometimes my music helps write the story. Sometimes other people's music helps write my story. But at the end of the day, every day is different, every year is a bit different, and when I'm making music I'm trying to help others. But this album, I was trying to help myself get through just the past, so I could be in a better position, off the stage, to hopefully be better on it, and be a better leader, be a better front man to help inspire others, wherever Pop Evil goes into the future. But we're definitely poised about, excited about being in this position. It's teed up for this next era and this next chapter. We really feel like the best of Pop Evil is still yet to come, and we're hoping that this album is a step in that right direction to get us there.
Brilliant. And you talk about the creative process and being heavy and being metal and all sorts of things, but you've just released a new EP where you've basically pulled the plug on that, right? So unleaded. So when you unlead these songs and play them this way, do you find sometimes they take on a little bit different meaning or stay true to what they were originally?
It's an interesting question. I mean, again, I grew up in the Great Lakes, so we always were out after hours with the acoustic guitars because we couldn't have anything electric or loud because the cops will come and shut it down, real quick. So we always grew up with an acoustic guitar. So I have such a passion for the acoustic guitar. I have such a passion for ballad. If it's at the end of the day and it's some point in the evening between 8 and midnight, I like to listen to some easy listening stuff, man. Still got guitar, still might have a guitar solo, but I don't need to have, I don't have to have that deathcore song playing all night long. I mean, I like melody. I mean, I like singers. I like girl singers, people that can touch me with their vocal, right? Like that's important to me. And I think sometimes when you're playing heavy music, it's easy to just do the acoustic versions of the slower songs, but we really want to touch base and show our fans that, like, hey, we're going to challenge ourselves to push a little deeper and do a chilled, stripped down version of some of the heavy stuff too. To let you know. And we had a great opportunity from Sirius XM, radio. They were like, hey, we want to bring you out with the release of this album, but the catch is we needed acoustic and we want a cover. And I'm like, done, whatever you want to do, we'll do it. That sounds good to me. Really, when it comes down to the acoustic stuff and the live stuff, totally two different animals. I mean, it's not nothing, it's not the same. So, like, obviously, if I'm playing a huge show and it's sold out, I don't want to, we're not coming bringing our acoustic stuff. Now, if it's acoustic tour or something, I mean, we get a lot of requests for the acoustic tour. Like, when's it happening? But it takes a lot on my voice. You know what I mean? Like it's tougher. And of course, they always want to do the acoustic tour around winter here in the US. So, of course, for a singer, the worst time to tour at all, any kind of music style, is in the winter, of course. And I feel like every winter I get sicker and sicker, right? Because maybe I'm getting older and it's just like my body's like flicking me off every day. Like, do not, like, why are you live in Michigan ever? Like, why would you do that? Because it's freezing. But yeah, it's a different animal. So when you play the acoustic stuff, it's about sounding good, really touching the soul, right? Not just it's not just also about sounding good. You want to, like, it's a vibe, it's a moment, it's a mood. And the people that are there to watch acoustic stuff are in that same mood, right? It's just like if I'm in your house right there playing with you on a guitar and I'm singing at full blast, like if there was 300 people in your room there, I'd be singing at a higher volume, I'd be singing in my more rock voice. You'd be like, if it was just me and you'd be like, bro,
Yeah,
turn it down,
yeah,
tune it down,
a little
like,
bit.
relax, dude. And it could be amazing. I could sound like the best I've ever sounded. You're gonna be like, bro, please, come on, dude. Like, relax, dude. I'm trying to, like, just relax for a minute. So it's just about playing the room, playing the mood, And sometimes as musicians, it's just fun to play other instruments. We get the keyboards in there, get the strings. You can really dial in the technology, get the cajon going. Blake's got the cajon going, and really dial in other vocals. Because sometimes the background harmonies, sometimes they're me, sometimes they're the band on the record, sometimes they're this. But when you can play that acoustic stuff, you can really see, how good the band is together. And I mean, we've really worked hard to make sure that and it's taken years. We've had to have some ugly acoustic shows where it's like, I don't want to sing, or the backup singer, the other guys are like, I don't want to sing. No, 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 sing. You got a good voice. Let's go. So to gain a little confidence and as a band collectively, and certainly bringing our new guys, Joey and Blake, into the band, just took our acoustic thing to a whole new level because they're so talented and they're both great singers as well. And so it was just real special, super stressful because we had never played any of those songs other than maybe Paranoid.
Yeah.
Maybe we Paranoid once or twice, but other than that, like Wishful Thinking, we were playing for the first time together almost, and we were immediately learning. No, I think that was I mean, we had been in the room maybe playing it a couple times, full out like heavy, but for the most part, that was the first time playing Wishful Thinking was acoustic. We're like, dude,
Wow.
we haven't even played this damn song for real yet. Like, now you want us to learn acoustic? Let's go. But the band, it just shows you where the band's at. We're like, let's do it. Let's jump on it. And I think acoustic things really mean a lot more to us now, later in our career, than it did when we were younger. It was like, whatever, acoustic, just play it. Okay, who cares what it sounds like? But now it's like, it's such an important part. Like, it's such a different perspective someone could get. And you take a look at the cover song we did, which is Don't You Forget About Me, that Simple Minds cover from the 80s. Even though the 80s song is amazing, it gives you a different emotion, right? It's upbeat, it's positive, and it's happy. Well, I don't hear that song like that. I hear the lyrics because I'm a lyricist. So right when I hear that song, it's Don't You Forget About Me, it immediately depresses me. Because that's kind of how we all feel, right? Like in life. Like at some point, we're all just letters on a tombstone, right? Like 50 years from now, yeah, maybe your kid, maybe some people remember you, but 100 years, 200 years from now, nobody's going to remember you and me. Like, who's going to remember that? You know what I mean? There's just so many more people coming on the world, so much more technology for people. Are they really going to remember? So there's a part of you that's like, don't you forget about me. There's an essence, and where we are in our career, 8 albums in, we still feel like all the success we've had, there's still so much more that we want to prove, right? I mean, we've only been able to get to Australia once. It's like there's a lot of countries we want to get to, a lot of things we want to try to keep doing, and we understand that those things cost money, they take time, there's just so many variables and excuses you can throw at it. But the reality is simple: don't you forget about me. It's just haunting. All those things you look at, okay, that's some of my demons, right? But what about yours or the people listening? What about those places you wanted to go? Oh, I always wanted to go to Paris. I always wanted to go to Australia. I always wanted to go to Europe. Like, okay, well, you know what I mean? There comes a point in your life where you're like, I'm getting older now. My kids, I got expenses, I might not get there. So there's that element of why I think this song is so powerful, and probably why deep down it stood the test of time, because lyrically, there's just a cry for help. There's an honesty there that comes whether you're male or female. When you say those lyrics back and you just read them, online or whatever, it's chilling, and it's just so relatable. So we wanted to take a reimagined version of this song to really, number one, have it be beautiful. Number two, respect it, but to tell a different picture, or to paint a different picture of this song that reminds people of just how deep a song can be. Just because you hear it sound one way doesn't mean it can't be interpreted another. So that's the pop evil interpretation of that song, and of course, if you try to do an upbeat version anyways, you're never going to be better than that version because it's just too good. I mean,
It
it's one
is.
of the most popular songs on the planet, right? So it's like, how do you take something that's so familiar with somebody and flip it on its head and make them cry? And the only way to make someone cry deep down, and I'm not talking about a tear, but to make you cry, your soul cry, is to really make them think about their own life. When you really think about your own life and realize that, don't you forget about me. If you can, and you can always lie about it. Like, I know guys can be tough. Oh, I don't care. I'm good, dude. But like, when you really get to that point in your life where you've reached that midlife crisis, where you feel like, dude, I've lived the majority of my life. Like, do I have one more day left? Do I have another, you know, 10, 20, 30 years left? Like, what am I doing here? What am I leaving? Like, was I a good person? Was I not? Like, don't forget about me. And obviously, if you weren't a good person, people can't wait to forget about you. So it's just again, I could talk to you about that song for days. It's just how chilling, but how honest and how real it is, and just super proud and excited about that our version, and hopefully it resonates with other people the way that it's resonated with us.
Yeah, excellent, man. I absolutely love the version. I heard it this morning, and I was
Oh,
just
thank
like,
you.
"Holy cow, man! Like, it's what a way to start the day."
Oh, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Now, you talked about Australia very quickly. Any plans to come back?
Yeah, I mean, we're definitely trying to come back. I mean, obviously, number one, money. It's
Mm,
tough. You got to route it the right way, and because Pop Evil's in this weird, successful position that if we don't do things right, that successful turns into an F and it becomes failure really, really quick. And it can really be catastrophic for us growing the band even here back in the US. Like it's not about us playing shows anymore. We really want to play shows, but bring our A game, right? We want to grow our production. We want to not just come to Australia. We want to grow every time we get to Australia so we can start to bring our production. And you look at some of the great bands, especially one that's in your backyard like Parkway Drive, the
mm.
production those guys bring is through the roof. You know what I mean? And they've been able to do it the right way. And not just in Australia as they've toured the world and grown. And, we're really watching and trying to learn from a lot of those bands that have been successful with their production. That it's not about just getting to Australia and playing music. It's about putting on a Pop People show that means a lot to us. And we want to do it the right way. So just waiting for that right opportunity to come where it can be justified. We don't even have to make any money. We just can't afford to lose it. You know what I mean? So it's just important. We'll see, but we definitely, I swear to you, every time an album cycle starts, the first thing every band member says to managers and labels is, when are we going to Australia? When are we going back to Australia? When are we going to Australia? So it's definitely on the top of our list, and we're really hoping we can get there before this album cycle's over. So we just want to do it the right way. And again, it doesn't really have anything to do with me or the band members. It's just got to be done with the people that manage us and get it done right. And we keep pushing them. So, hopefully it's going to be sooner than later.
Let's see. All right, lastly, let's look ahead to the future, mate. We always do this for the prediction. Finish this sentence for me. By the end of 2025, Pop Evil will.
Play lots more shows and get to Australia.
That's what we want. Love that.
I love it.
Leigh, thank you so much for your time, mate. Absolute pleasure to catch up as always. Hope to do it again in Sydney soon, eh?
Yes, do we do it in person? Would be better, man. I love
Yeah,
it.
let's do it. Good to see you, man. Have a
Thank
good one.
you. Yeah, yes, bye now.
See ya.
Have a good rest of
Bye.
your day. Yeah, bye now.
Thank you for watching our interview with Leigh from Pop Evil. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to our YouTube channel and check out maytherockbewithyou.com.